He's on. He's alive. He's well. It's great. I can see his wee face. Now, the big question is, and I'm sure many of the heroes and scumbags listen at this moment, can we hear Mal? Mallorca, are you with us? Trying to fix his Mallorca.
Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome one and all to the hashtag show.
Just as I see you bring your mic into focus, you're I don't know what you would call it. The shaft of your microphone looks too small for the microphone holder. Is that an issue you have? Is that an age
That's
thing?
a problem I have, not just with microphones, but with vaginas.
Have you ever see? Obviously, I mean, you're different from
this
many.
Looks too small.
Aye, the hole looks too big for your wee mic.
I think it technically is. It's a rank kind of mic. See, this is an SM58 that I use, Scott, and without getting too technical, I do believe that the holder is from an AKG 1000. You know, you'll regard and remember fondly the ones that we had each when we started the show, and Gary asked for his when he left. In fact, he came up to my house and collected it.
I will never forget that. As long as three things I'll never forget about Gary. Obviously,
sandwiches.
I was actually thinking about a big man the other day because I was in Paisley on Sunday, and I'll talk about it in a minute. But I walked past the venue where I first met Gary Little, and it just made me think of the big man fondly. And then, as I continued my walk on, it made me think about when the duo were a trio, and when Gary would approach the podcast weekly or fortnightly, as it was back then, with an aggressive step. He would bound up your stairs to your studio with aggression. So the aggression that he brought. Second of all, the day he turned up with his fucking packed lunch with his pieces, never offered us anything, and just sat quietly eating his sandwiches.
But then that quickly, he broke the ice with that. Then he'd often turn up with a packed lunch.
He would.
No, even say a thing, just eat it away, ate it.
No, and then obviously the third and final one being when the big man decided to move on to pastures new, he asked for his third of the equipment back. For which the best thing is it's not like we'd put money in, right? We'd taken money from the
live shows
for the Patreon and the
live. No, we didn't even have Patreon at the time. It was the live show money.
Oh God, so it was, and we bought these microphones. And then when Gary left, Gary asked for his microphone because there was 3 microphones. And you had to give him it. It was brilliant. And the best thing is,
I think it's probably just still sitting in a box in his house.
Because it's not a live microphone; it's a recording microphone. Like, so we can't. Oddly enough, so whenever I go into a gig, I take one of the fucking cases with me, right? One of these cases.
I just shows you look important. Aye. Just shows you look as if you're detonating some kind of fucking bomb, or you get hundreds of millions of cash in there.
Man, Spectre Gadget case, right? So I keep. Oh, for fuck's sake! Everything's falling apart. I take recorder, camera, all that kind of stuff. Oh, we get shelves up.
Yeah, we get shelves there, guys.
We get shelves up in the studio.
We're slowly building away. Sorry.
I take 2 SM58s with me. My preferred microphone of choice for live performance.
For every live performer, the SM58 is a go-to.
Why I've got my tattoo, which is an SM58. I know it looks like a woman's vibrator, but it's actually an SM58 there. And I just keep the AKGs that you gave me, right?
Just in case.
In that case. And I always remember, like, a guy opened it once, a fucking Money Tech was looking for the SM58. And this is all the old COVID thing. Remember when they're like,
yeah, you're in, Mike.
Aye, and I was like, because he sent me this big email, right? And it was all fucking. He had like taken, obviously, like I imagine you'll have had it as well. You know, if you do a gig for a council, and the council just give you like copy and paste their inside council speak. So like they'll get like a generic email that goes out to all council workers, like, right, everyone must approach from the southern door, 3 steps to the left, wash, sanitize your hands and feet. So he sent me this big thing about, hi, Scott, here are our COVID guidelines. And then he had went like in between each line and then typed up like his own thing, how it refers to him. And I'm reading this going, what the fuck is this? And this was all like how I can keep him safe as the tech. And it was things like...
don't spit in my face.
Well, see once you're done. Wipe your cock on the.
They wanted you to wipe your cock in the curtains and fuck off.
Do not wipe your cock in the curtains.
They wanted you to take your own wee like the wee afro, the wee mic afros.
No, they didn't want them either. No pops. They wanted, and actually, as I was, do you ever have, mate? I'm full of coffee this morning, right? I've had fucking 2 double espressos. I'm wired. Do you ever get it when somebody says something to you, and you go, "Aye, mate, no worries," and then you take like 4 or 5 steps, and you go, "What did he just say?" And like you actually process. So, see, as I was reading it, and then after I'd done the gig and I was speaking to him, I was like, "This is he's trying to sell microphones. He's trying to punt gear because in it said." If there is a performance a week before you, we would be unable to provide a microphone because it says it takes 2 weeks to sanitize. I was like, how do you sanitize an SM58? Take the heat off and fucking run it under soapy water. Put it back. What are you talking about?
You just get the wipes. But anyway, he just went fucking over the top.
I just replied to the email.
Many folk did at the time through naivety or unknown.
And said, I've got my own microphones. It says I can bring my own cable. I said, I've got a 10-meter cable. It's totally fine. I says, no problem.
Code talk.
Code talk for 10-meter cable. And then when I got there, he's like, if in the reply to the email, he says, I would suggest you test your equipment first, and if it doesn't work, we're able to sell you an SM58. I was like, fucking.
Cool, sure.
So see when I turned up to do the sound check. I hate doing sound checks, right? But he came down and he had like a talk back, so he can talk to me through a headset and it comes with the speakers, right? And he's like, I'm going to ask you to do a sound check, but if you can not shout because we don't want any COVID particles. We don't want any COVID particles. I was like, mate, we're so far past this now. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares about COVID anymore. There's an article out there that the Americans apparently found a new variant. Nobody cares anymore. You're going to have to invent something else to scare us. We're done with it. But SM58's best microphone ever. Gary took his. It's useless. Unless he's...
Well, you were getting to, did he see the AKGs and go, oh, hello there?
Well, he saw the AK, because I put my case up in the fucking tech box, because that's where I set the camera up. And he says, because
somebody's a professional.
He held them up in the wee bag and he went, you couldn't use these, mate, because these are more for like recording purposes. And I went, I know, mate. My pal's a DJ, tell me all about this stuff.
My pal charged me $3,000 for these crackers.
I'm sure the best bit ever as well, because sometimes I feel like saying to Gary, see if you just hung about for longer, I would have given you stuff for free. Because I ain't got all the stuff you've gave me over the years.
Nothing.
How? I've got all the microphones you gave me.
No, I think you took them off me. How many microphones did I give you?
You gave me 2 AKGs. And you gave me... What I did was, to be fair, to give the heroes a wee peek behind the wizard's sleeve, I pounced on Mal in his weak moment, right? I orchestrated this. I went over when he was just moving, everything was in boxes, and I asked for stuff. Remember when you were going through the consumption? I was like, I'll take that. I'll have that, no. You're like, you want one of these? I was like, this is brilliant. I've got nothing of this, cunt. Geese it all.
Going back to what you said earlier, I've went like that, mate, and now I'm realising what I've done.
Two AKGs I've gave you in the fancy case. In the fancy case as well. Remember? You're like, I'll keep this one. I was like, and the old reverse psychology. I was like, Miles, no point. You keep it. You've got it here and you can put it in the studio. Give me the case, and then that way I've got them protected. You're like, all right. And you didn't want to give me the pop filter that fits the AKG, and then I ended up getting 2 off you. Yeah, fucking wee dick.
I'm just wondering.
I think I got an SM58 off you as well.
No, you stole that and told me it's no mine's, because mine's went missing. And then you said, I've always done SM58.
I have.
Like yours, that says ML on it.
Two SM58.
I wrote ML on it out of respect and love for you.
ML means mutual love, brother.
As we speak right now, there's guys out the back door.
Is this code talk?
Digging a new water pipe for me. I'm getting a borehole fitted.
Is this code talk? A new water pipe and a borehole?
Yep.
No,
it's no cold talk. It's following worky talk.
This could be sexy talk.
So at any minute the power could be down and they'll cut the fucking main power line in the house. I hope no.
Do you think that if women took the time to learn worky talk, that would turn us on more than sexy talk?
No, because it's frustrating. Are you ever spoke to the missus and put a few worky bits in, or been talking to workies and you get on that worky 101 and then they go, what did they say? What's going on? And you actually feel a wee bit kind of empowered. Don't worry about it.
There's something that makes you feel manly when your missus starts and goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
Aye. Just got. I don't know what he's talking about either, but I'm just kind of going down with 4x2s and that, a couple of scrans in there, and get a couple of dwangers, and we'll get that up shape.
It's like the bit in Gavin Stacey, a roll steel joist. No, okay.
I've never watched Gavin Stacey.
He's measuring the length of the bathroom, and he's like, "I'm just concerned about if that's an RSJ." She's like, "RSJ," because birds don't know what an RSJ is, or most of them don't know what a load bearing wall. A roll steel.
Oh, load bearing wall, right.
Yeah. I'm a fucking load bearing wall, my man. Know what I'm saying? But I think
your fucking wee dwarf legs are load bearing.
Do you see that wee midget
Viking torso?
That wee midget dwarf Viking I sent you the other day?
There's been a lot of stuff going on in the old. I've been busy, mate. I've not really been involved in the derogatory chat on the WhatsApp group.
I'm slightly concerned about you on the hashtag WhatsApp group chat. Slightly concerned about you.
I've not had time for it.
I'm just worried that you're getting. I don't want
above you guys.
Not above.
I'm becoming a mature citizen.
I don't want you getting too far away from us on the age gap. I'm concerned because you're starting to act like a fucking pensioner in that. There's a wee funny reel I found on Facebook. And just...
look at that, a squirrel.
Your contribution to that chat is starting to be like we've got somebody's gran in, and you're just trying to like every now and again the filth from Mr. Ross, and then you just kind of dilute it with, here's a wee funny, a wee micro piglet of fun.
Look at that, they've got a wee superhero suit and a dog. And it's running towards you.
And then Ross just gave it off, fucking, I'm going to murder my wains and I'm off in the caravan.
I worry about Ross sometimes. But then I think Ross is just trying to be the tough guy to us.
Aye, that's it, mate. He wants to just be one of the boys.
He wants to be one of the boys.
He wants to be one of the boys. Like you said, I'm ungraspable when it's really his missus is the boss. She runs him. She
runs things.
Aye.
She's a rude boy. And that's the best. But I actually think about it, you could actually write a book about this, right? It's a great premise for a book, right? And just call the book The Ungraspable, right? And it's basically about a young man.
Yep.
It could be a young, talented musician or a musician. Mm-hmm. He could be just a working 9-to-5er.
Yep.
Right?
Man about town.
Who thinks he is the man about town. Goes to the casino and all that. He's got a couple of wee side hustles, doing a bit of singing in the pubs and blah, 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 blah. And he thinks he's ungraspable.
Aye.
But it's just the biggest double bluff ever because it's his wife that's ungraspable and lets him believe he's ungraspable because she is ultimate ungraspable because the ungraspable Ross / hero doesn't know what she's up to.
Not a clue.
Amazing.
And also cares not a jot.
Cares not a jot. And that's like they put it out there. Nicola, you're a legend in my eyes. I've sussed you right out, hen. I'll be giving you that wee wink now.
You're fucking, your number's up, hen. Your cards are marked.
You were the ungraspable. Now you got to pay Papa to keep silent.
Pay Papa to keep silent. It's been a lot's been happening, mate. I've got a lot to talk to you about. Talk to you about.
What about that? I've been aware that the Burning Man festival, and they're all freaking out about that because basically they're getting a taster of what every UK festival fucking is like.
Have you seen some of the videos?
Well, it just looked like a fucking pure mud fest, right? But then I've seen a couple of mad women just going nuts on TikTok or whatever it was, or Facebook Reels, and they were saying that the government's stopping them from leaving because, this is just for one source, so I don't know how factual it is. They're saying suspected Ebola has broke out.
They're talking shit, man.
I know.
Fucking nonsense. But I don't know if you saw the flooding in Las Vegas, the flash floods in Vegas.
No.
It is wild, mate. Wild, man, right? So I didn't realise that, obviously, I suppose the climate in Vegas is kind of similar to Atlanta when I was over there, and like every single day at like midday, it rains for like 20 minutes solid just because it's so humid, right? So they had these flash floods in Vegas, and it's fucking unreal, man. Like streets disappeared, cars getting swept away.
In actual Disneyland Vegas, like Las Vegas a bit.
Like Las Vegas, Nevada, like welcome to Vegas, where the fucking Joe Pesci's burying cunts in the desert, like that Las Vegas.
Check it out.
So if you go on to X, formerly known as Twitter, and just type hashtag Las Vegas, you'll see the videos. There's a really good one of a guy in like an old vintage Bronco, right? And nobody wants to drive their cars through the water, and then he just goes for it. And the people filming it like, oh my God, no. And he's pure hand out the window, like hitting the side of the door, like, yeah, just
Well,
driving
as if it's
through.
a horse.
Aye,
Holy
just keeps
fuck,
going.
man.
Just keeps going right through the water. And then a bus as well. Bus goes for it. And they're all cheering. It's odd that all of the old cars with like old engines get through the water, no bother at all. But modern cars, or kind of relatively new cars, they're all fucked in the water. I remember once in Paisley, there's a bit where I don't know the streets, man, but there's a bit in Paisley.
There's a bit behind Love Street that was really bad. It goes under the bridge and it's
That's
fucking
exactly
goes
what I'm
into.
talking about.
I knew
Right,
that bit because I've drove through it a couple of times. Just thought, holy fuck! I'm a bit of a gambler.
I had an old Volkswagen Polo, right? The one that was shaped like, you know, the 3-wheel cars. It was shaped a little bit like that. Kind of had like a sleek, like a torpedo shape. And I remember that motor, mate, was fucking indestructible, man. Indestructible. And I went through that once in the water, and there was a guy saying to me, just as I'm about to go in. So I'm watching this other car come in front of me from the other side through this bridge, and I'm trying to gauge how far up the door the water goes to see, like, is my car gonna be fully submerged here? And then I thought, fuck it, I'm going for it. First gear, high revs, just straight through, no bother at all, kept going. In fact, another time, do you know that bridge I'm talking about? And
I know
either side of
it.
but either side of it is like a walk path, like a cycle path. Because there's a bit for pedestrians to go through.
Well, I think it's for football traffic and that as well, isn't it?
I've driven my car through the footpath bit. So once it was so bad the water, I was like, I'll get through that footpath, bumped up in the fucking wee Volkswagen Polo and drove through, put the wind mirrors in and drove through the footpath. Out the other end, mirrors out, boom, off I went.
Killed a few folk in the way, but
that was
they
like
get washed away.
When I used to live in the south side of Glasgow as well, they started fucking clamping down. Again, somebody for Glasgow City Council, I do admire the councils because it's like all this stuff that's happening in London with Sadiq Khan with the ULEZ stuff, right? And everybody taking down the cameras, which I think is fucking brilliant. You've got to admire the council because even when you think there isn't any other ways to make money, they find ways to make money. So in the south side of Glasgow, the numbers went through the roof, right? And everybody was moving to the south side of Glasgow because people couldn't afford the West End. And this is back, so I was maybe in my early 20s when I lived in the south side. So you're talking, almost 20 years ago. And people were just parking the streets, right, as you do. So you're in tenement flats. There's maybe 2 cars for each tenement or each flat. So there's fucking, there's 30, 40 cars in one bit of the street trying to find parking spaces. And everybody would park, but you would kind of regulate yourself. So if you came down one street and they were all parked on the left, you wouldn't park on the right. Do you know what I mean? People would just kind of police themselves, as they almost do in Holland, which is the best country in the world. And then somebody for the council came in and went, right, see if we put yellow lines around every corner and halfway up the street, we'll stop people from parking there. We'll say that it's a safety thing because you can't see around the corner. And then what we'll do is we'll be able to lift these cars and it's £160 a time to get your car back. And that will make Glasgow City Council even more money. So they put bollards up so you couldn't park on the corners. But because everybody had just wee tiny motors, we were just reversing and parking perfectly between the fucking bollards every single time. And then they couldn't dent you because you're no on the road.
Technically you're no, the bollards on stopping you.
Aye, so you're on the pavement. So they just built parking spaces with using these bollards. Glasgow City Council, when I'm watching the news about all this stuff in London, I'm like, this is where Glasgow City Council's getting this way. They don't give a fuck about air pollution. I think it's bullshit. Yes, that one lassie died in London. Yes, that's a terrible shame. But literally, if you farted in her pillow, it would have killed her. She had like the worst case of asthma that's ever known to fucking mankind. So
I've been watching the videos of the fucking Vegas, man. Holy fuck.
It's wild, isn't it?
Aye, but you know what?
Smaller nature, Mo.
It's not that much of a big deal, is it? No, I mean, it's a bit. I I remember once it was like heavy and I had to put wellies on, so like I've been there. But I mean,
mate, remember
I've been champion for a while.
Remember the tsunamis in Japan?
We've got less than five years to go. So lap it up, guys. Enjoy yourselves.
You're not feeling that, mate. Right. First thing I want to talk to you about is a man who I found. Right.
You're leading the missus, you found a man. and this is the happiest you've ever been. And I look forward to the wee Facebook posts of the two of you just curling away together, maybe with the Doug, the tour manager in between you, and you're saying, I need to get him to the barbers, need to get his stage clipped.
I hope that he
then take him home for some right heavy bumming. No, the Doug, my gay lover.
I hope that this man is a long lost relative of mine. His name is Barry Gibson. He's
for the Bee Gees.
54 years of age, and he is from Stoke-on-Trent in England.
Which I'm going down to play on the 30th Club Kinetic reunion.
Well,
it's almost sold
I hope you'll give him a shout out when you go there.
Of course.
Barry Gibson, 54, Stoke-on-Trent. And you might be thinking, why is this name important? Let me tell you, Mal. There are certain men who you should remember through history, right?
And he has got the body of a
men of doing great things. Some people would argue Winston Churchill. Some people may say Albert Einstein. Someone may say Adolf Theodor Hitler.
Mallorca Lee.
Great men who have done great things.
Mallorca Lee.
And Barry Gibson is on that list because he, Mal, is the first man on planet Earth to not only have a hair transplant, but have a mullet transplant. He is a 54-year-old bald man who is a barber from Stoke-on-Trent, and he said that so many people were coming into his barber shop and asking for a mullet that he thought it was time for himself to buy one. He went to Turkey, he got a hair transplant, and he got a full mullet. And he has gone from a bald man to now having a full ginger mullet. And he is a fucking legend.
Why did he choose ginger? He could have got any colour of hair he wanted.
Mate, that's what he wants. That's what he wanted.
Is he trying to look for that bogan Australian outback look? Sadly, I can't see it. It's all whitey do it. You need to get a better angle. Right, that's him, Cootsville.
Right.
That's
him, Baldy,
he
right?
looks like a Star Trek character or something.
No. Also, right, look at his face, right? Let's look at that focus.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like as if he's make it so number one. He looks like one of the robots. Oh my god. It does look like a fucking wig, but
mate, that's amazing.
It looks like a wig, but and look at the happiness in his face. And why you went into the dark?
He's went for that to that.
My god, I would have stuck with the Cumbernauld.
Come back into the light. Come back into the light.
I prefer him bald.
So they are.
Slightly menacing. Rather than looking like a fucking a wrongin.
If I had the money, I wouldn't be going to Turkey to get a hair transplant. I think I suit being bald. I don't know what hairstyle I would have if I had to.
I'd lose my shit if I seen you here because I wouldn't know who you are.
But I've never had the. See, years ago, right? I don't know what it was on. I never watched it live. It was on some fucking like clip show talking head thing. There was a guy, I don't know his name, right? He was a model in the 80s and 90s. He's a guy, you might know him, Mal. You've got a penchant for the male models. He was a judge on some Dancing with Ice thing, right? And he's bald. And he was on like This Morning or GMB, physically in tears, Mal. Like actual sobbing, tears running down his face because
why?
Talking about going bald, talking about him going bald and saying that he knew his career as a model was over. He knew he'd never work again. He thought about taking his own life. He didn't understand how he was going to earn a living. And I'm like, what the fuck is this cunt talking about?
Like talking like his life's over.
All because he was going bald. And I'm going like, I wonder if it's because I went bald so young, but are there actually men out there who, when they start going bald, panic as if my life's over? You're like, get a fucking grip, man.
I think, and you'd have probably experienced it, certainly as a young man, it must bring on a lot of stress.
Never.
I mean, as you get older, I'm going thin. Everybody goes thin, and you eventually get bald or have to shave it off or whatever. It just so happens that the bald look is acceptable now, whereas back in the 80s, it was like, you're a skinhead kind of thing. That's a bit, that's how folk had the hair around the sides and it just did the fucking
the bald bit.
But, like the bald thing, and some guys, yourself, Mr. Ross, you just kind of look good in that, with that fucking thing. But then again, I would imagine you're a young guy and you're losing your hair, you're at school or whatever. What age was you when you lost all your hair?
15, 16.
Right. You can't tell me that wasn't a fucking, you never get into the fucking mirror a good few times or get upset about that.
No, because my hair, it wasn't like I woke up one day and I had like a full head of hair, but I had a big, started going bald. It was like my hair just started going thin.
But regardless, I bet you were upset about that. And be honest,
no,
you can't say that never affected
I just shaved it. I just shaved it. So
see, no, you must have had a wee.
Honestly, mate, I didn't. But maybe it was because I was so young and like it wasn't like my identity was not my hair, Mallorca. Maybe if I was in my 40s, or and I started going bald, maybe it would be different if I had like 40 years of hair and then suddenly it starts falling out. Maybe but no, at fucking 15, 16. You just
I'd have thought it'd be heavy duty at a young age.
No, but no, it wasn't. It really wasn't. Maybe if I had like a fucking mental haircut, big long ponytail and that. But when I see sometimes I see guys in the street and they've got like no hair here, but they've still got a ponytail at the back. I'm like, you're a fucking samurai, mate. Just take
I don't
it
like
off,
that look. I don't like that look.
Well, that and it's
a thin, ropey ponytail. It's not even like a full-bodied ponytail.
Fucking whip that off, cunt.
I think I would have thought it would be more stressful losing it as a teenager because then you're open to folk at school laughing at you and blah, blah, blah. But then again, you can just go like, well, you know what? It's getting old. Fucking boom. Shave it off and get on with it when you're older. But if he's making his life, maybe that guy who's greeting had a big fucking quiff or something.
No, I think his thing was because he was obviously as a gay man, look, is another gay man. I think the underlying tone was, as I was listening to the interview, going, this guy doesn't fancy baldies and he's not think he's going to get his hole anywhere. Little did he know, Mal. Poofs don't care.
Aye, just rub that gel oil your head and you can slide on it anywhere.
As long as your arsehole's not got a fucking hairdo, mate. That's all I care about.
Aye. Bleached and waxed. That's my favourite, the arsehole department.
Barry Gibson, 54, legend.
Well, I have to say, Barry Gibson, I'm not a fan of your new look.
Mate, if it makes him happy, Mal, who are we standing in the way of people's happiness? If you want to put on a fucking skirt, go yourself a woman, walk down the street, take a shite in a bus toilet, you go right ahead. Who am I to stop you? If you want to go to Turkey, spend your hard. How much does a hair transplant cost?
I don't know.
How much does a hair transplant cost?
A guy was up doing a bit of joinery work for me, and he would just get back from Turkey. And I seen the Nicky's head, man. It was all fucking scabbed and all that.
It's horrific.
It looked, and he told me. So that's two folk that I know. A boy I used to play five-a-sides with is the first guy that I knew that got a hair job, right? And I could see in his face the pain that he was in, right? He was just full of fucking painkillers and booze. And that was at the fives. And he was like, mate, I've never experienced anything to say in my life. And then see when it kind of settled out, he still looked thin on tap. It wasn't like a miracle cure.
No. I just don't know why. But then again, why do people do anything?
It's vanity. If somebody gets comfort out of it, well, fair play to yourself,
So it's saying here that an average hair transplant is from £1,750 up to £3,000, depending on the client and what's been asked for. Now, to me, Mal, I would say go and spend that in steak and blowjobs and have yourself a better time than a fucking new haircut. Do you know what I mean? Don't be spending that kind of money. See if you're a bald man and you're not happy, take that $3,000, go and get your bud a big pair of fake tits. That'll make you happier than having to fucking comb a barnet every morning. Right? That's what I would suggest. Good luck with that. Imagine you went for a hair transplant, you woke up with like a pure bouffant and a pair of fake tits, and the guy's like, listen, I'm so sorry. We thought you were somebody else.
No, if you just went to get your teeth done, you woke up with a set of knockers. You're like, I would have thought you went like, well, that's Brian. He's a fucking, he's getting the sack for it. That's twice he's done.
Listen,
that.
We were all
I'm going to be his fucking bad day. And then you kind of go like that. You start getting a wee rub with it, and then you go, and this is for free, is it?
We're on the sake, man. Right next minute, like that. Here, you know what look good in that, boy? Big pair of fucking 800 cc's.
You could at least shave my fucking chest here.
no, you'd want a big hairy man tits.
It looked like a fucking sheepskin rug sitting in a set of chibs.
You don't want it shaved.
If I had a boob job, I'd get the tits all shaved, just so I could, without getting any hair in my mouth.
No, you want big.
I could probably lick my nipples in now, actually.
Big hairy Viking tits. That's what
no, you don't. You want ones that they've just got a glisten of, so as if you get goosebumps. You can see it on the boobs. Boob bumps, I like to call them. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Do you know what? I like it. This is why it's good to record this early in the morning, because you just open up these things.
I fucking got so much going on in my head. I don't know where I'm.
I love goosebumps on jets. That's what I love. But I mean, there you go. From Malacca.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Good night. Okay. Great. Good night.
The HashTag show.co.uk